What do you do?
We basically watch and write in real time.
Do you ever think like the president of the United States is going to try to get you?
I feel like he's angrier about SNL now than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's angry with you. I mean, the day has to start early.
Well, today, the next 3 days will be crazy because we can't write ahead of time. Like, there's going to be impeachment hearings all day today, all day tomorrow, all day Thursday.
Yeah, he's tweeted about you.
He has, but not for a while. I think like he's angrier at SNL because I feel like to him, it's a betrayal.
Right, because he was on it.
Yeah.
Remember when you thought your dad was embarrassing? Well, prepare to feel a whole lot better about your family dynamics. Howard Stern's about to drop some truth bombs about Trump that'll make your cringy family moments look like a Norman Rockwell painting. From Trump's creepy comments about his own daughter to his obsession with rating women, this expose will have you calling your parents to say, "Thanks for not being that weird." Ready to feel better about your own family drama? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Which is a
liberal town.
Yep.
Right.
But also, I do feel like because we've been very open about what our show is,
right.
I think if you love Donald Trump, you've probably chosen to disengage.
Your comedy is brutal.
Yeah.
About Trump. He even calls you out about it.
Yeah.
Are you threatened at all? Do people get emotional with you? Do they start screaming at you if you go out to a restaurant?
No. I mean, let's be honest. I live in Manhattan with the show.
Is most of the writing between the monologue and closer look, is that you doing most of the writing?
We have a monologue team, and then we have a head writer for a closer look, who's this really brilliant writer named Sal Gentile.
I mean, it must be an amazing day.
Howard Stern's been spilling the beans on Trump, and boy oh boy, it's juicier than an overripe peach. Turns out the orange turd was a frequent guest on Stern's show, and he wasn't shy about letting it all hang out. Who needs a filter when you're a billionaire, right? But here's where things get creepy. Stern's revealed that Trump's comments about his own daughter Ivanka were enough to make even a shock jock uncomfortable. And let's face it, when you're grossing out Howard Stern, you know you've crossed a line. First up, we've got Trump playing Peeping Tom at his own beauty pageants. Apparently he'd waltz backstage while contestants were changing, like he owned the place. Oh wait, he did own the place. But still, it's like he thought being the boss gave him a free pass to ogle young women in their undies. Classy move, Donnie. But wait, it gets worse. Stern shared some of Trump's compliments about Ivanka's looks, and let's just say they're not exactly what you'd expect from a loving father. Trump reportedly said, "You know who's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everybody? And I helped create her. Ivanka. My daughter, Ivanka. She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body. Dad, maybe stick to you look nice, sweetie, next time."
He was just he was everything you would think. He didn't have any sense of humor.
Right.
But if things worked, he liked them.
And by work, did you have to explain to him why they worked?
Yeah. And even then, it was when the audience was...
Did you were there when he was on it, right?
First time, 2004.
Did you enjoy working with him?
I mean, it was fascinating to be around him.
Would he come into writing meetings?
No.
It's too big.
It was it's the same way he is in rallies now. It's
right.
He keeps saying Bill because it worked.
Right. So in other words, you write a sketch for him. He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But he'd go out and dress.
But no, Trump had to take it even further. He actually said, and I'm not making this up, that he'd date Ivanka if she wasn't his daughter. Let that sink in for a moment. The man who became president of the United States openly admitted he'd date his own kid if they weren't related. Psychologists have weighed in on this kind of behavior, and surprise, surprise, it's not great. They say it can cause serious damage to a child's self-esteem and sense of self-worth. When a parent sees their kid as a sexual object, it messes with their head. It's like Trump was trying to win the world's worst dad competition. But hold on to your hats, folks, because there's more where that came from. Stern's got a whole treasure trove of Trump's questionable comments, and he's not done sharing. What else did the Donald say that made even Howard anything goes Stern squirm in his seat? Well, for starters, Trump seemed to have a real fixation on women's bodies. He'd rate them like they were prize cattle at a county fair. A 10 here, a 7 there. It's like he thought he was the Simon Cowell of female attractiveness. Newsflash, Donnie, women aren't there for your personal scorecard. And let's not forget the time Trump bragged about barging into the dressing rooms at his Miss Teen USA pageant. You know, where the contestants were as young as 15, he claimed he could get away with it because he was the owner. Because nothing says responsible adult like peeping on underage girls, right? But perhaps the most revealing thing about all these comments is what they say about Trump himself. Here's a man with zero boundaries, questionable judgment, and an ego the size of his golden tower. He seems to view women, even his own daughter, as objects for his personal entertainment and gratification. Well, folks, it turns out our wannabe leader-in-chief might have been playing an even bigger reality show game than we thought. Howard Stern, the shock jock who's been spilling more tea than the Boston Harbor, just dropped a bombshell about Trump's real motivation for running for president. And let me tell you, it's more twisted than Donnie's toupee in a hurricane. Remember The Apprentice? That show where Trump got to play big boss and fire people for funsies. Well, according to Stern, our orange friend wasn't done playing make-believe. Nope. He wanted to take his act all the way to the White House. But here's the kicker. It wasn't because he had some burning desire to make America great again. Oh no, Trumpy just wanted to make his TV ratings great again. Stern spilled the beans that Trump's whole presidential campaign might have been nothing more than a publicity stunt gone horribly wrong. Apparently, the ratings for The Apprentice were tanking faster than Trump's approval ratings, and our boy needed a way to stay relevant. So what does any washed-up reality star do? Run for president, of course. But wait, it gets better. Stern revealed that Trump was more desperate for celebrity endorsements than a teenager begging for Instagram likes. He was calling up every famous face he could think of, practically begging for their support. And guess who was at the top of his speed dial? That's right, Howard Stern himself. Now picture this, Trump sitting in his golden tower, phone in hand, probably with a Big Mac in the other, dialing Stern's number over and over again. It's like a sad political version of a teenage rom-com. Hey Howard, it's me again. Just wondering if you've thought about that endorsement. No pressure, but I'm kind of running for president here. But Stern wasn't buying what Trump was selling. He saw right through the orange facade. In Stern's words, Trump treated the whole presidency thing like he was auditioning for yet another reality show. It's as if he thought being president was just like being on The Apprentice, but with nuclear codes instead of pink slips. And get this, Trump apparently told Stern he was only running to sell more books. That's right, folks. While other candidates were out there talking about healthcare and the economy, Trump was thinking, how can I shift more copies of The Art of the Deal? It's like he thought the Oval Office was just another Trump Tower gift shop. But here's where it gets really wild. Stern said Trump didn't even want to be president. Can you imagine? Running for the highest office in the land, not because you want to serve your country, but because you're trying to leverage a better deal with NBC? It's like applying for a job as a brain surgeon just to get a better gig as a TV doctor. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite shock jock decided to shock the Donald himself. When Trump came knocking on Stern's door, begging for an endorsement like a contestant on The Apprentice, pleading not to get fired, something unexpected happened. The self-proclaimed king of all media told the wannabe king of America to take a hike. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, weren't these two buddies? Well, yes, but it turns out even Howard Stern has his limits. Trump, in his desperation to be liked, or should we say elected, called up his old pal multiple times during the 2016 campaign. He was hoping for some of that Stern magic to rub off on him. But here's the kicker. Stern was already Team Hillary. Imagine being in Stern's shoes for a second. Your orange friend is blowing up your phone, practically begging you to tell your millions of listeners that he'd make a great president. But you know deep down that this guy is about as fit to be president as a chimp is to perform brain surgery. What do? Well, if you're Howard Stern, you stick to your guns. He said, and I quote, "I could sell out my complete beliefs and everything else." But he didn't. Our boy Howard chose integrity over ego, proving that even in the wild world of showbiz, some people still have a backbone. But let's not forget, this wasn't just any old endorsement Trump was after. This was Howard freaking Stern, the guy who went from shock jock to respected media figure faster than Trump's hair moves in a strong wind. Stern had a lot to lose by refusing Trump. He could have lost a friend, faced public backlash from Trump's supporters, or even become a target of Trump's infamous Twitter tirades. Yet Stern stood his ground. He told Trump, "Look, I can't do this." Can you imagine how that conversation went down? Trump probably red-faced and fuming, hearing the word no for what might have been the first time in his life. It's like watching a toddler being told they can't have ice cream for breakfast. You know a tantrum is coming. And boy, did it come. Trump, being Trump, couldn't handle the rejection. He probably ranted and raved, maybe even threatened to never go on Stern's show again. But here's the thing, Stern didn't care. He valued his principles more than pleasing a thin-skinned narcissist with delusions of grandeur. Stern even went as far as to say, "I personally wish that he had never run." I told him that because I actually think this is something that is going to be detrimental to his mental health too, because he wants to be liked. He wants to be loved. Talk about a truth bomb. Stern basically told Trump, "Dude, you're not cut out for this. Go back to your golden tower and count your money." But the real kicker? Stern revealed that Trump didn't even want to be president. Can you believe it? The guy who spent years screaming, "Make America Great Again," apparently just wanted to make his TV ratings great again. It's like applying for a job as a firefighter when all you really want is to wear the cool helmet. In the end, Stern's refusal to endorse Trump stands as a shining example of integrity in a world where it's often in short supply. It's like finding a unicorn in a sea of donkeys. Rare, beautiful, and slightly magical. Stern proved that even in the cutthroat world of entertainment, where egos clash like badly dressed titans, principles can still prevail. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange turd is about to blow his top. Howard Stern just dropped a truth bomb on Trump, and you know what happens when someone bruises that fragile ego of his. It's like poking a beehive with a stick, only instead of angry bees, we get a swarm of angry tweets. You see, Trump's not exactly known for taking criticism well. When celebrities dare to speak out against him, he goes into full toddler tantrum mode. It's like watching a reality TV show, only this time the drama queen has nuclear codes. Yikes! Now, you might be wondering, will Trump go nuclear on his old buddy Stern? Well, if history's any guide, it's about as likely as finding a vegetable on Trump's dinner plate. This guy's got a track record of turning on his former pals faster than you can say, "You're fired." Remember Steve Bannon, Trump's former right-hand man? When Bannon dared to criticize the great and powerful Trump, our presidential man-child lashed out like a cranky toddler who missed his nap. Trump actually said, and I quote, "When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind." Ouch! Talk about a burn from the king of bad spray tans. But here's the kicker. Trump's favorite weapon of mass destruction isn't his toupee, though that thing could probably cause some serious damage. Nope, it's Twitter. That little blue bird is like catnip to Trump. He just can't resist using it to launch personal attacks on anyone who dares to cross him. It's like he's playing a twisted game of whack-a-mole with people's reputations. And let me tell you, when Trump decides to go after someone on Twitter, it's not pretty. It's like watching a train wreck in 280 characters or less. His tweets can have some serious consequences for the people he targets. Careers have been derailed, reputations smeared, all because Grumpy Trumpy got his feelings hurt. But here's the real kicker. All this lashing out, it's not just because Trump's a big meanie, though he certainly is. Nope, it's all about that ego. According to Stern himself, Trump's ego is more fragile than a snowflake in summer. Stern said, and I'm quoting here, he really does want to be loved. And that drives him a lot. Aw, poor little Donnie Diapers just wants a hug. But seriously, folks, this need for constant validation is what's driving Trump's decision-making. It's like he's running the country based on who's nice to him that day. Can you imagine if other presidents did that? We'd have given Alaska back to Russia because Putin sent a nice Christmas card. So what's Trump's next move against Stern? Will he unleash a tweet storm of epic proportions? Will he try to get Stern kicked off the air? Or will he just sulk in the Oval Office, eating Big Macs and watching Fox News? Whatever he does, you can bet it'll be more about soothing his bruised ego than actually addressing any real issues. And that's the real tragedy here, folks. Every time Trump lashes out at his critics, he's not just revealing his own insecurities, he's showing us exactly who he is. A man more concerned with his own image image than with actually governing. A guy who'd rather start a Twitter war than tackle real problems. It's like we elected a middle school bully to run the country. Well, folks, it looks like Howard Stern just dropped the mic on Trump's fragile ego. The shock jock didn't hold back, expressing worry that Donnie Diaper's desperate need for approval might just melt his snowflake mind. Stern's concern about Trump's mental health is like watching a car crash in slow motion. You can't look away, but you know it's gonna be messy. Let's face it, our orange friend's thirst for love is more obvious than his spray tan. But here's the kicker. Stern's bombshell revelations show that Trump's not fit to lead a conga line, let alone a country. It's like watching a toddler try to drive a monster truck. Entertaining, but terrifying. As 2024 looms on the horizon like a bad hair day, remember this: Stern just pantsed Trump on national radio, and the emperor's got no clothes. Grumpy Trumpy's true colors are showing, and they're about as pretty as a week-old Big Mac, so buckle up, buttercups. This roller coaster ain't over yet.